Thank you. So, hi everyone. My name is Zhenya Kostenko, and I represent a small team titled OSSHelp. It's my own team that I built from scratch. And the title of current presentation about human error, as you can see, or how to fuck everything up. I have a small question, not to point any fingers, but just to show you the real problem. Did anyone notice the mistake on the last slide of previous speaker? Can you raise a hand? No? Anyone? No. 2, 3, okay. So, it's not about the mistake, or it's about fuck up. It's about being human. We always, we will do it anyway. So, basically, my whole presentation is about our own journey, how we try to reduce amount of mistakes, what path we take, and I should warn you that this is basically the endless process, and what I will be describing further is just about current snapshot, about the current point when we are now. So, let's move further. About my team, if you didn't meet me before. So, OSSHelp, we are outsourcers. We provide DevOps and SRE support 24/7 for web projects and startups, and mostly we offering our services for small and medium-sized teams. So, and before we move forward, I should also describe my own background, because this is important part of the whole journey, because I had some experience as a system administrator, as a developer, and I know the most common mistakes. Also, I name myself as experienced Linux drug dealer because I spent some time spreading the Linux in the beginning of my career. And also, I work part-time as an instructor at training center. I teach mostly about Linux again. So, let's move forward. Previously, I already discussed the possible mistakes, and it was 2 times. If you didn't see it, it was about what developers are doing wrong. If you're really interested, you can use QR code to find it. It's also on IT Matters channel. And the second part was about DevOps in city. This part was mostly about mistakes on the DevOps engineers, on the part of DevOps engineers. It's about dirty secrets in day-to-day work. So, before we move further, we should establish some ground rules. I briefly touched this topic in the beginning when I noticed the mistake, but here's what I was talking about. So basically, we all are humans and we all make mistakes. It's just unavoidable. You can't shut it off. This is basically the game rules. So you have to stick with it. And you can't change it. You can just mitigate some disasters, reduce the damage, but as they say, it is what it is. So the next one about game rules is about consequences. So when you fuck up, it's literally have 3 possible scenarios. It's about losing your clients. It's about more stress for your team, for your colleagues. It's about burnout, it's about quitting or getting even fired, and also it's about a PR nightmare. So if you really made a huge mistake and this mistake got its way to the news, so basically someone will be trying to mitigate the consequences of your mistake. It will be disaster for someone else. The next one, it's about why this usually happens, and it happens with all of us. It's just because some people don't want to do anything else. For a start, it's about old habits. We all creatures of habits, so basically I don't want to change anything. I just work as I used to, so get lost. The next one is about lack of motivation. So basically we are talking about something you don't pay me, well enough, and I will work as I want to, etc., etc. And the next one is very strange, but it also possible. I named it the rules of PEC, rules and laws of PEC. In this item, I was referring to the PEC of rules, but people are creatures, social creatures, and when you joined a new company or new team, there's a process assimilating to, how to say it, to common weather, to common rules. So if you see that no one even bothered to do it right, this is a matter of time until you will do the same. You will think, why I should bother? Everyone doing shitty job, so why I should do more? And the next point, it's about the limitations. So some people just can't do better by some reason. For example, it's about weariness. So you're very tired, you're burned out because of some previous events, and you don't have power or strength to do additional work or just to change anything to do it better. Yet again, we are talking about destruction. Probably all of you are familiar with the interruptions. When you're trying to do something very important, when you are concentrated on some very difficult topic and someone bothering you every few times, asking with some nonsense, you're just losing your focus. And it's just a matter of time until you miss something important, and it will have disaster consequences. And the last point, it's about personal limits. So, as computers, people also have their own limitations. Basically, even if you are a very smart person, you have your own limits, and if you take enough load, if you, I don't know, overload your head, it's also just a matter of time before you start losing things, before you will start making bad decisions because of not enough resources, not enough concentration. So in this term, we're talking about inability. This is the next part, which makes this whole game even harder. It's about conflict of interest, and yet again this topic was covered in the previous speech. So we are talking about beloved clients, which always want to cheaper and faster. And it's to be honest, usually the preference of almost all clients, and if you're agreeing with such terms, you're basically burying yourself in work, so you're digging your own grave.
Sorry, but what if, again about the context of interest, what if on the client side they are not that much interested in your project? Can it be considered also like conflict of interest? Like they order something from you, but they are not so much interested in this. I mean, maybe some of the employees of the client. So basically you have like a conflict of interest because you have this interest to finish your work, to finish the project, but on another side they are not that much interested in this. Can it be a problem?
They are not interested in what exactly? That you will be able to finish your work or do it properly?
Well, maybe they won't prevent you from finishing your work, but they are not that much motivated as you are. That's the problem. That's what I experienced.
They are not motivated in what? To achieve what?
Well, just imagine, in their company there is someone responsible for the development of the website, for the better future, but it's just their like extra responsibility, and they are not that much interested.
So basically you're talking about a situation when you're trying to do your work good enough and they just don't care.
Yeah, for me it's just another example of conflicts of interest.
Stop working with government, just stop.
Don't work with them. This is the simplest solution.
But they pay money sometimes. You know?
Maybe I will be saying right now something contradictional, but there are plenty of companies who are interested in professionals. So you should probably just follow the suggestion and skip this one. So, about conflict of interest. The next one, it's also very interesting, and I call it everyone is lazy. And not for talking shit about everyone else, I will try to explain. So, there is a theory that since the time we lived in caves, our brain is still functioning with the simplest algorithm of possible. Our brain is tasked with preserving the energy, so every decision that you make is almost every time your brain will choose the lowest amount of energy spent on the task.
Like we always need a shortcut, you mean?
Yes, even if it will have disastrous consequences. So, and I see it almost every day, and to be honest, I don't know, the digit from the up, maybe around 99% of people functioning like this. And I saw very small amount of people who use, I call it conscious decision, when you're really trying to use your brain to make a decision, to estimate your options, to choose wisely, not just take the easy path. So, talking about game rules and our bad habits. The next one, it's getting even worse. It's about scaling or about growth. So when you're doing your own job, it's okay. You can control yourself, you can make decisions. But when you're working in the team or in the big company, or when you're even a project manager or I don't know, team lead designer, you're basically doomed. And I will try to explain why. So, the problem titled "Someone Else's Hands." You can't control them. And there's very popular but very stupid idea to do it all by yourself. You have huge amount of colleagues in your team, but you're trying to do everything by yourself. It's very stupid idea. You will die. You will burn out. You will quit. So another stupid idea is to use the thing named micromanagement. You are trying to control everyone at every step. You are trying to interrupt, control, correct, change, etc. It's also a bad idea because we already covered the interruption problem. So, and this one, it's about the changes in big companies, big teams. We, as I said already, we all are creatures of habits, and those habits are very hard to break or very hard to change. So basically, in big teams, I don't know, even in a team with dozens of people, it's hard to change. You need a critical mass to start the changes. You need to total approval for changes you offered. And just going back, I just covered the problem minimum effort. And basically you're offering someone else to spend more energy on what? Why should we change anything? So just get lost with your suggestions. We are doing well without you. So the next one. It's about our journey and how we try to fight this one. Not always successfully, but nonetheless, I will try to describe it how we did it. So, we started this process, and going back again, I should remind you that we are DevOps engineers, so basically we are representing two professions, Dev and Ops. So we are developers and we are operational support, and we are working in the area of IT, where technologies and software are changing basically on daily basis. From month to month, everything could be changed almost totally. So we tried to adopt it. We started to analyze what we are doing and why we are making mistakes. This was the first reaction. We literally thought we're all gonna die because we finally saw the amount of mistakes we're making almost every day. So this is literally my first reaction, or my freaking god, this is bottomless void of fuck-ups and mistakes and stupidity. What the hell we should do? So the next one, it's also my own mistake. There is a term named survivorship bias. It's about the situation when you have only partial visibility and you are making decision when you don't have the whole information. If you are interested in this term, Google it up. It's quite interesting thing from the back in time. But don't impose yourself. When you are trying to understand someone else's mistake, don't compare it with you. Yes, it's very basic thing. We are always comparing something with your own background, with your own skills, but don't do it. Because you will end up as me thinking, why the heck? He's literally an idiot. It's very easy situation. Why the heck he did this? How it's even possible? It's very easy. I would definitely avoid such mistake. And no, you wouldn't, because you're messing up the facts. The person who made mistake wasn't you. He didn't have your experience, he didn't have your brain. He was in totally different situation with different environment. So, as I say, you should wear his skin or wear his shoes. You shouldn't compare someone else's mistake with your. It wasn't you, it was a totally different person. The next one, it's also my favorite mistake, mine personally, it's about user's aggression. So, you're just literally boiling up, you're just screaming, you don't know what else to do out of frustration. What is going on, guys? Are you really so stupid? You know the following. So this is also a bad idea, don't do it. Right now, by the way, I'm doing exactly like he asked me to show you the bad examples, how to not to proceed. I'm trying to help you not to waste time as I did. So, the next one is about reusability. By the way, we have the whole process which in our team called the quality control, and we have some internal procedures which I will describe further, and the results of such procedures are covered in, we name it Hall of Fame. And for every year of our work, we have such digest where in very short terms we usually describe what happened, what gone wrong, how we fixed it, and what we decided to do to avoid the repetition. So this, what we are calling yearly Hall of Fame. We have a ticket in our ticket system for every year of our work, and this ticket contains all our mistakes for this whole year, but in very, very short description because there are plenty of them. So, and we decided to literally intimidate our juniors. So when we are hiring a junior, one of tasks that this junior is assigned to read all such tickets for all our years of work. So literally the new person is reading every year's digest, and this person is assigned to write out his own top 10 of unforeseen, unpredictable, scariest mistakes he never thought about. So we're literally trying to scare the person from the first day of work, because I don't know how to say it in English, but in Russian it sounds like «дураки учатся на своих ошибках, умные на чужих». So we basically decided to thought about ourselves like a smart person, and we decided to share our mistakes within our company and even share it with new members of our team. Do you know the analog in English about, no?
No.
No?
Maybe someone linguist know, do you know?
No, I don't know. Maybe someone from audience know about it. No?
So, Marianne, do you know any equivalent?
They don't have the drawings.
No?
Good.
I know only great minds think alike, but this is not relevant to the situation. So, basically, we are start and scaring our juniors, and Yeah, when we try to implement such things, we got some resistance, and I will try to describe why the heck it was happening. I already mentioned that we're creatures of habits, and some stupid person tried to give me some work. No, I won't agree for that. So please, lost. The first problem, why people resist to discuss their mistakes, it's about publicity and it's about ability to publicly admit that you made a mistake. And by the way, I have one small surprise in the end of this speech, which related to the ability to admit your own mistakes. So I guess you should wait a little to know what I'm talking about. But I saw some people who literally can't admit their mistakes. They are basically ready to cut their own hands, just don't want to admit what they did. It's very stupid, but nonetheless, there are such people. And another very, very strange, but I also faced it a few times, I won't snitch. So I won't rat out my colleague, my co-worker. Yeah, it sounds good, but it's also very stupid because you are basically doing a bad favor. Because you're hiding the problem and you're stealing from the person the chance to grow on his or her own mistake. So the next time this person doomed to repeat the same mistake, and maybe in the next time the consequences will be even worse. So also in Russian it sounds like медвежья услуга, but I spent some time googling and trying to find the analogy in English, but I wasn't able, so let's stop with doing a bad favor. The next one, it's about common fears. So there was a dialogue like this. So you're literally asking me to write someone else's mistake when I saw it, and you think this person won't be fired or will lose some money, like losing bonus or I don't know, pay cut or something else. Or even getting fired. No, I'm not stupid enough to do such a bad thing to my colleague. This problem is very hard to solve, and this is about establishing the safe environment. So if within your team and basically within your company, if people are feared of punishment, you're doomed. You won't be able to introduce such processes, and this should be solved somewhere on higher ranks, that it is okay to admit your own mistakes. It is okay to work on your mistakes. Yes, there are some exclusions where people should really have consequences of their actions, but in this case we are talking about consciousness, decision to make bad thing. In this scenario, I'm talking about unconscious mistake, when you can't even think about or you didn't know about possible scenario, and it is okay to avoid punishment in this situation. So about another problem, another reason to face the resistance when you are trying to implement such processes in your team. It's about lack of clarity. Some people just don't understand when and why they should report the mistake they saw. You should establish some ground rules, and I will be covering this later. So people should know when and how to act safely. And another one about resistance, it's about sense of utility. So basically it's useless, abandon it, forget it, I won't do it, it won't help, etc., etc. So this usually happens when the same mistake happened twice or even the third time. But you should relate to your colleagues that when we are choosing the measures to prevent the future repetitions, we can't foresee the future. We are just trying our best, and we are basically accepting the fact that we could possibly repeat the same mistake the second or even the third time. It is absolutely normal. We are just trying to find the best solution, and choosing in the time when we are choosing this solution, we are not sure that this will work 100%. So this is okay, but I saw some situations.
And Zhenya, about uselessness, you probably know that many people in IT suffer from too many alerts coming from all messages, etc. What is the solution? I mean, you get so many alerts and you're supposed to prioritize.
Alerts or interruptions? It's different areas.
Well, basically I'm talking about alerts, like from different systems.
Okay. If you are talking about ops support or more fresh term like SRE, site reliability engineering, so there is a term named alerts fatigue. So basically our brain is just starting to filtering out some interruptions. So it's about the fairy tale, The Boy and the Wolves. When boy was screaming too many times, wolves, 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 and at the one day everyone else just started to ignore him. So the only solution, if we are talking about alerts, and I probably covered in previous video, it's to reduce their amount. So basically alert, this is interruption, this is, I forgot how to say it, the live person, the human, I don't know, the super specialist should
so you probably mean that it's better to get the most important ones when it's really necessary.
Alert, it's a very important thing which needs your attention, and you should filter out everything else. If your human interruption isn't needed, then you don't need this alert, because it's just useless thing, it's just spam. Okay, so I covered our first attempt to introduce such process in our team, and here are some advices how to do it or how to improve your processes. It's about some tuning. So for a first and for most important question, just forget about your emotions. Just use your logic. Don't scream. Don't try to fight the situation with your anger. It won't work. Believe me, I tried. It's a stupid idea. So you should use your logic to solve the problem, because screaming at the problem just ignores you, and people will too. Another one, it's about clear requirements. I mentioned before that people should understand when and why they should report the problem. So another people are lazy, as I said, so you should be very brief, and your writings should be foolproof. Basically, you are writing to a lazy child who should be able to understand what you want from them, and only after, only with such requirements, maybe someone will start reading what you wrote for them. The next one, it's about communication with clients and clients' endorsement and clients' approval. We covered this topic already in previous speech and in questions. So you should prove to your clients and can basically convince them that if they are trying to cut corners, if they are trying to use, I don't know, quick and dirty solution, the biggest payment will be from their side. Yes, it will be your fuck up, but they will pay for that. At least in our work, it's about downtime, data loss, I don't know, information leak, etc., etc. So you shouldn't pose this as a threat to your client. You should prove to them that this is in their best interest to give you time to think and to choose the best solution. But if client prefer not to listen to you, probably it isn't your client, or you're choosing the bad words. So another one, it's about blameless. This is very popular topic, and I covered it previously in another video. It's very popular culture, but I should say the blameless itself insufficient, because it's just a small part of big picture. It's just one little puzzle, and if you're just trying to start blameless culture in your team, it won't work. You need all other parts, and I will try to explain why. Yes, but you still need it. If you will play the blame game, it's your fault, you're fired, you will lose your bonuses, it won't go good for you, and probably you will lose your colleagues or your whole company. And about enforcement. We're talking about lazy people. There are plenty of them, almost all of us. So it's usual carrot and stick. Some people will be motivated by carrot, and other you should motivate with stick. It is what it is, because if you will give your team enough space, if you will create a comfort zone, part of them will follow the rules, and you will have to deal with the rest of them who decided to, I don't know, confront you or sabotage you or something even worse. So don't forget about stick, it will be useful in such situation. And here's an example how we usually investigate such situation in our team, and how we're trying to find a solution to avoid repetition. This is the process, the results of which we're using in our yearly Hall of Fame. So the first and most important is establishing the timeline. So when someone reported the problem, or at least he thought of it as a problem, you should understand how it happened and from what it began. So basically, the author of the issue or the ticket just should report, guys, I saw this thing, I think it's very bad situation, I fixed it already, but we should definitely discuss how it happened and what we should do with that. And there is very important issue. All participants of this whole situation should be included in conversation. Not to choose the blame, someone to blame, but to discuss the problem, to share their opinion on how it happened, why it happened, and the next one, what we can do to avoid it. So this is should be discussion, free and open, and you should definitely avoid pointing fingers and playing so beloved the blame game. Another one, next step, it's about fixes approval. It's some kind of our specific, because in our team we have DevOps engineers or SRE, and we have something like hybrid of project manager and account manager. So basically, this is a person who usually communicates with clients or a specific customer representation. I don't know how to say it correctly. So this person, we name it project manager, usually have the whole picture in his or her head. So this person knows what happened with this client before, and he can raise the problem and say something like, guys, this is the third time when we are fucking up with this client, it's unacceptable, we need to think about something, we don't have any other options. So that's why the project manager decides on whether to accept the proposal, how to fix it or not, or even to speed up the process, and about fixing the problem. There are situations when the problem should be fixed as soon as possible. It's rare situations, but they usually happens, and so we're talking about critical situation when something broke, and usually we fix the problem, and only after that we're reporting what happened. But it's a rare occasion about fixing and after report. Usually we report, we take some time to think, and only after thinking thoroughly we're making the decision to move. And the next step, we are thinking about avoiding the repetition. So yet again, I don't know how to say it in English, so I will say it in Russian. It sounds like «Кто не помнит прошлого, не имеет будущего, потому что обречен повторять одни и те же ошибки». Probably there is this phrase in English, but I wasn't able to find it. So we are, every time when we made a mistake, we are thinking about, okay, so it's already happened. What we can do to avoid the same situation in the future? Maybe we can write, I don't know, step-by-step guide. Maybe we should write some boilerplate, some manual, some how-to step-by-step guide, anything that will help any one of us in such situation to avoid the problem. We are limited beings, we're just humans. We are doomed to make mistake, and we need any help that we can think about. So even it's a ugly clutch, or I don't know, ugly hack, but if it will help you, it's worth spending your time. So on this step we are thinking and discussing how to avoid the same mistake in the future. And as I said before, when we are choosing some measures, we are accepting the fact that chosen measures doesn't have 1% guarantee that it will help. So we're basically accepting the fact that probably we will make the same mistakes, and what we chose was wrong. We yet again fucked up.
Well, at least you will know what to do when you make this mistake again.
Yes, as Edison said, I didn't make 1,000 mistakes. I found 1,000 ways how to not to make a bulb, a lamp. So basically, I think none of us can foresee the future. So we're operating in dark. So we're just choosing the best option that we have in this exact moment and trying to proceed with that. And about sharing the knowledge, I already mentioned that we are literally terrorizing our juniors with this, but also after each incident, we're updating our internal articles about common mistakes. We have a huge article which titled Common Possible Mistakes. Every time when we are updating it, it grows, and every time we're trying to reduce the amount of information, because if it's too long, then no one will read it, because too long didn't read it. And if a mistake was very, I don't know, huge, important enough, it's up to participants of this discussion to share this situation globally in chats, I don't know, tickets. I'm talking about making global announce to everyone, which sounds like, guys, recently we fucked up very much, so please read this carefully. Maybe it will save you ass, sorry. So, and almost the end of such process, it's time to summarize. And summary is usually made by someone who made initial report. In this situation, we are thinking about reporter like an owner of this situation, like a customer, I don't know, product owner, someone who ordered to fix this situation, and this person decide to accept the proposed decision or to refuse and say, guys, it won't solve anything, we need to think harder. And yet again about the stick. We have a special person who called manager of quality control project, and this person in final step usually checks that every one of required steps was fulfilled, performed, I don't know, finished, that we proceed as we agreed before on such situations. So, and here's a bonus for all of you. If you are really interested in this topic, I participated in joint video with team lead на диване. Помашите им рукой. And this video contains information about progressive teams and companies who prefer to avoid the blame game. So, except me.
So it's like some like blameless association of companies or something.
Not exactly. Not so many companies adopted blameless culture. And for example, in this video, you can learn something about internal process of GitLab company. It's a huge international company. You're probably familiar with their software, and you probably know the guy who will be in this video, but nonetheless, I urge you to watch this video. It will be useful, not because of my participants in this, but also because of discussion. because of questions and answer for the some situations. And as usual, my contacts. If you want to discuss this topic, you're free to contact me. I will try to answer when I have time.
Great.
So any questions?
Yeah, I have my first little question. What you said, it's mostly about your work as a DevOps engineer, but would you say that it can be 100% applied to the work of an ordinary developer and this whole team of developers and QAs, etc.?
I don't know if you noticed, but I was talking about people in general. So yes, it's everywhere. Even if you are baking cakes, if you are building, I don't know, buildings or automobiles, you're doomed to fail because you're just human. So it's everywhere.
So any questions, guys? And girls? Yes, please.
You talked about lazy people, and what about people with lack of motivation? They do their work, they do it bad, and...
What sticks do you talking about?
We can discuss sticks one-to-one with you. It's your favorite topic, probably. So, 1 minute, I will try to answer the question. Let's move back and establish the basic line. I said everyone is lazy. It's not a bad thing. I'm not trying to talk shit about people in general. It's just who we are. It's our brain. It's trying to preserve the energy. And if you are talking about the people with lack of motivation, probably your manager or your boss is the person who is lazy enough to motivate you. So you can try to play the blame game and point everything on him and say something, if you will pay me enough, I will, etc., etc. So this is the hardest part of the problem. If you don't have external motivation, you will have to find the strength or the energy in yourself to find your own motivation, to get better, to move forwards. I don't know, it could be achievement, money, fame, choose your
Would you say that
poison.
would you say that if someone is not motivated enough, then it's the problem of this particular company?
It's a very hard topic because there are some people who don't want to climb the Everest. They just want to live their life, and it's their choice. You can't impose your own, I don't know, targets, your own opinion on them. It's up to personal decision.
And
it's not my problem, the problem of my colleagues. Should I help them? Or maybe it's fault, or maybe it's my fault. But I think they have no motivations, but it's not my deal.
Not to sound rude, but probably you missed the biggest part of my speech because you're still trying to play the blame. You're trying to find the guilty party. You should stop with that, and you should start with conversation. You should discuss the problem and talk about it. Because the previous speech was about the problem that people have since Stone Ages, problem called miscommunication. Yes, we can speak almost 2,000 years, but we are still very bad in that. We are still having problem in day-to-day communication when you are trying to say you're wrong and your opponent heard something like you're an imbecile.
yeah, it's all about being direct and sincere, probably. And there was a question from
Polite.
the bearded gentleman. Yeah.
So you started with human factors and told only about mistakes. So there are another problem in human factors is violations. So when someone's doing something that he definitely knows is wrong. So what to do in these cases? Is still blameless culture or something else?
Well, it looks like when inside the company there are different opinions on doing something.
No, different things. Just maybe some rules, maybe some industry standards.
I'm sorry, you asked about conscious decision to do some harm, yes? No?
Yes.
So...
Not harm. Maybe sometimes do something not wrong, but maybe faster.
faster.
In a company, for example,
It's about conflict of interest, because I will make it quick and dirty, and it won't be my problem. It will be someone else's. It's like throwing the trash out your window. You got rid of your problem, but someone else will find a flying piece of on his head. So it's
like we don't need backups in our company. What the
yeah,
Sorry,
it's a stupid idea.
question from you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. It was a lot of useful information. So you have talked about two kinds of mistakes team lead have made done. First of
it was
them,
my mistakes.
okay. First of them is to make everything about your own efforts. And second is to have micromanagement when you ask your teammates what do you do now, what have you done yesterday, what is your plan tomorrow. So what is more dangerous when team lead is burned out or when team is burned out?
So someone's supposed to be burnt out,
Okay. I don't know. Let's proceed with question. You prefer to lost your left hand or right? Please choose.
No. It's two mistakes. I understand. What is more dangerous?
More dangerous.
For the project or the deadlines.
It depends on your company. Do you remember Chernobyl? It was definitely someone's mistake. I don't know the real reasons. I can just speculate, but it was a disaster. You all could agree on this, and I think it's very possible that someone speed up the process and decided to cut corners, or it was something that can't be foreseen. We can't see future, and estimating the consequences. There are such topics like business risk and skilled people in management should estimate such risk. It's very hard to just for, team lead to prognose such risk for business. It's business decision. And if you are talking about what worse, it depends. It depends on your company. I saw many companies where it's literally okay to burn out your, colleagues because we can hire more, or it's okay to interrupt everyone because they don't have a choice. So people really do stupid mistakes, and I'm sorry, but I can't answer this question without additional details, because in some situation it's okay for you to lose your hand, but you will survive. But in other situation, you prefer to keep your hand. So it depends on the environment, on the consequences. Yeah. We should discuss in private.
So, any more questions? Yes, please.
Common thing I hear from developers is just we hate all these meetings, all these calls. Let's just let us to do our programmer stuff. So how do you motivate these people not to avoid this conversation, not just make some for record stuff and go and continue to make mistakes? How do you motivate them to discuss it properly?
Yeah, it's like a torture. It's like a torture for some of them. I see it personally.
Okay, if you ate too much sweet, you will feel bad. So almost everything could be too much. And what I'm trying to say, I mentioned already the carrot and your favorite stick. So one moment, please. I will finish. And every person, as I think, chooses their own distance from the carrot and from the stick. There are people who prefer to follow the carrot, and there are people who can't even live without regular stick appliance. So people learn from their mistakes, and if you can allow it, you can probably give them some freedom to fuck up huge time, one time, and maybe after that they will start to think, because what you are describing, it's, I'm sorry to sound rude, it's kind of childish decision. I don't want to think, I just want to play. So it's maybe harsh, but if people don't want to discuss the problem, they're trying to bury it. It's like, I won't go to dentist, I will solve it sometime later, and you will have your cheek flown. So
it's like, for example, okay, this was a stupid mistake, nobody will ever do it again, let's just go for our real work. Let's stop charging for it.
Okay, we are again in gray areas. You can abuse everything. You can abuse every mechanism, every procedure. So it's up to your team and responsibility of this team to decide what mistake should happen. And as I said, your team should have some freedom, but there should be one person with the right of veto who will say, no guys, stop. I think this is very important and we should think about. So basically I'm talking about self-organizing, about some amount of freedom, but also with the right to interrupt and say, no, we can't ignore this, we should discuss because this is happening the third time, the fifth time. So yet again, it depends on the situation. How many repetitions do we have? What consequences do we have when we decided last time, heck with it, we will never repeat it. People learn only from their own mistakes, and only argument, you can answer with facts. You can say, guys, last time you said it never happened again. Yet again, you see what happens. So this time we should follow through. We should think about it. At least at my suggestion. I can't foresee the future.
Yes, question.
Okay, just a question from my curiosity. It's more powerful than me. So you're so forward-thinking a person who thinks to your work, and just could you tell there were two mistakes on your slide? Is it were they intentional or it's because you are human?
Well, he seems to be a human actually.
Two mistakes on a slide.
Second slide and in the middle.
In the middle.
Experience starting a lot about us.
Yet again,
It's,
as I said in the beginning, when I pointed
it's
out,
DevOps guru.
yes, we all humans, and it's just a matter of time until you will do something stupid. But in this time, just one letter. Just imagine what would happen if this letter will control the decision. I don't know, the skyrockets, the angle of the.
Actually, I was anticipating that you will make some quest. Who noticed some mistakes?
No. So
the last question. I wait.
Okay, anyone else? Or have we finished?
And the next, and one more.
Okay.
Yeah, and this gentleman.
I understand that maybe this topic was covered in the aforementioned video about blameless culture, but you mentioned that if company or team hasn't this blameless culture at all, everybody is afraid to say I fucked up or say he is fucked up, he fucked up. How you can prove it in the right direction? You want to seed blameless culture into this team, but you said this should be done on the higher level. I can.
Short, you can't. In the long run, there are two ways to achieve that. The first and probably the rarest, when such decisions are made at top levels. So when your boss says like guys, we are making too much mistakes, we should introduce the proper process to analyze them. And as I said, there aren't so many companies who use such processes. And the second one, even harder, because you need your peers' approval, you need a critical mass of your colleagues, you need the biggest part of your team to agree with you and to start the process. The rest probably will follow, but you need to win their opinions on this. You should convince them that it will benefit them, and why I'm saying that it's very hard because, yet again, we are creatures of habits. We are trying to spend minimal amount of energy, minimal effort, and you are literally suggesting for me to work harder. No, I will skip this one. So you should convince them. I don't know, with stick maybe.
So, Zhenya, which of the questions did you like the most, maybe hated the most?
About my mistakes. I will check twice or maybe three times next time.
Okay, so hopefully it will suit you. Question.
Guys, and can I announce this
Yes.
about the surprise?
Yes.
So, to sweeten the pill, I think you heard this term. We decided to bring some cake, but I will probably say that this cake is available for those who are ready to admit that they fucked up, and as usual they say me too. So the tea is there and cake will be,
So
I will bring in
yeah, we're going to have a picture with it and with you.
So everyone should go to the mic and admit their own mistakes?
No, not necessary.
so something like this.
Okay. Can you could you? It's all about the place where you apply the carrot, you know?
Gorgeous
I'm
box.
worried about sticks also.
This is the carrot, sticks will be later. For those who won't agree with us.
So, Zhenya, thank you so much. I won't shake your hand, but
I'm sorry I'm busy.
yeah.
Very nice.